The special primary election for the county executive seat is just 1 month away. And the next coming week, CTV will bring exclusive interviews with each of those candidates.
And joining us in the studio today is candidate and business owner Marcellus Crews. Thanks so much for being here with us today, Mr. Crews.
I'm happy to be here.
So you've been a successful business owner for 15 years, but you don't have political experience at this county level. So how would you leverage the experience that you do have to come into the county and bring it up when it's dealing with a big budget deficit like it is?
I think it's time for change. I think it's time for someone with my experience. I've been in over 6,000 homes here in Maryland. We are in small businesses from healthcare to construction, in embassies. I'm also a state vendor. I work and we do conference rooms for the state. So I have been on the front lines. We've raised $6.6 million for the homeless veterans. We've done bone marrow drives. But bigger than that, I've been in our schools. And right now, we need workforce economic development. We are missing a huge piece. My company deals with a lot of cutting edge stuff that we are missing in this county. It's time for us to innovate. From bioscience to NASA that we have here. We have the right ingredients. We have cybersecurity, quantum computing. All of these things we are missing, and I think it's time for us to innovate and go to a whole nother level. And so a lot of what my background brings from development, it's time for us to develop differently. This has become a bedroom county where we have to drive 30 minutes and 20 minutes just to the grocery store. Don't you all feel it? I know I feel it. It's time for us to build with urban living. It's just, there's so much that we can be doing. But most of all, workforce and economic development is what we need right now.
And you talk about economic development, that's being a major factor, but how do you plan on attracting new business to the county?
Oh, that's a great question. See, that's what I do. Now, so I know a lot of people wondering, where has he been? Well, I've been in the private sector. My company does work for the companies that build the Whole Foods, okay? We do work for a lot of other entities that would come here. They're ready for us to make a change. They're looking for new leadership, someone to take us into the future, not the past, not the present, but into the future. So in my book, Prince George's County has the largest registered small businesses of any other county. What are we doing? We're leaving them out of the conversation. They're the biggest, one of the biggest parts of the engine for economic growth. And so I come from that sector. What are we missing? We need certified workers. And so that's where you bring in education. So my plan is to bring in a new workforce where small businesses come to K through 12 education like we do for sports. We start getting our young people certified quicker, sooner, and faster. We give them apprenticeships quicker and sooner, starting in 6th grade.
And workforce development is a big part of the blueprint for Maryland's future, which is the education plan in the state. And Prince George's is set to receive the most funding from that, but we're hearing that there might be cuts. There's promises that, it will be leveled out over the years. The funding won't come as fast. So how will you secure that funding for the county?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. Maryland's budget right now is centered around quantum computing, bioscience, all right, cybersecurity. All of those things are here. And if we have a leader who understands those and understands how do we pipeline a lot of our nonprofits and our businesses and our education system towards that, I believe we'll be able to bring a lot of that money here and help look inward and start building out. I think it's time for new leadership, a new vision.
Earlier you spoke about, residents having to travel outside of their, normal range to go and get some groceries. So what do you think the solution to that would be?
I love that question. First of all, we need to do what I called urban building. So, when we are building, a lot of times, let's take the stadium, all right? We built that stadium. What's around it? Go to the Nat Stadium. You see that ecosystem? That's how you build. You build, if you're going to bring in stores, you do condos on top. When you want to build a parking lot, let's build a high-rise parking lot, right? So that it's less, we're taking up less space and you can put more retail and vendors around that. I think it's time for people to be able to put on their flip-flops, come downstairs with their little pet, go to the little coffee shop, go shopping if they want, and go back home. Why are we getting in our cars and driving 30 minutes just to go to the grocery store or to the coffee shop? I think it's a different way that we have to go, and that takes new leadership. You see now the way they build, they're not going to change, but with new leadership, we will change. It starts from the top. Did I answer your question?
You did.
And those development projects, I mean, they're not cheap. That costs money. But can you promise Prince George's residents that you won't raise taxes if you become the county executive?
I promise not to raise taxes. My promise here is to say, as we innovate, as we ramp up workforce development, we're going to bring down taxes. That's my goal. I'm a business owner. All right, I think totally different. I think that we have to get back to the basics. Everybody wants their kid to get that internship. They want that kid to get ready for the next phase of their life. And my point here is who do they come to? People like me. Why would someone like me, who I'm doing well, jump into this race? It's because I believe it is time for us to get to a place where we're attracting people in business. We have the best education system than any other county.
So let's talk about the budget deficit. Currently, we're seeing a $170 million budget gap. But what do you see as some of the potential targets for cost cutting without compromising those essential services that we do need?
Cutting. Well, I think we're cutting now to the bone. I think it's time for investment. I think in business, sometimes we have to spend, sometimes we go in the red. But you're going in the red to make money. And so when I look at Prince George's County, we're losing money because we start on projects and then we stop, okay? I live by some of the projects that we started, Westphalia, and it's just sitting there. I think it's time that we move forward boldly so that we generate the money and the revenue that we are supposed to be getting right now. That's the way I look at budgets. You gotta grow. It's time for a renaissance here in this county, and I know we can. Rebranding, it's time for all of that. I know that I can bring back the businesses here. Why? Because they're watching this race. They want to see that we choose someone like myself that will attract a lot of them back here. It's time for us to get serious about where we're headed.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, Mr. Crews.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.